This week, we'll be doing an in-depth analysis of a match I played at Locals. So this was the deck I built pretty much after the last video. I played this list at my first Locals this week. It actually performed really well. I went 4-0 that local. I was a fan of Salesman. In all the instances I played it, it felt very good going second. I was able to call a lot more cards than I thought I was because I was just siding in going second against every deck just to try it, see if it came up. And like it came up against like the Dragon Ruler deck where I was able to call the Dragon Maid negate that they make. Against Mitsurugi, you can call Murakamo or Detonator. Against Maliss, you can call Bomber Dragon if they make it. I played against Branded in that match, and you can call stuff like Mirror Jade or Quem. Was a fan of Salesman. Obviously, Warning is really strong. The rest of these cards are pretty standard at this point. I was siding the one Meet You because I was maining this package that I talked about in last week's video. These cards were awesome. I was very, very happy with these cards. They did a lot and helped me play through pretty much any hand trap. These eat interaction very efficiently because at least at the moment, most players haven't seen this package being utilized, and especially I was playing the Saber Dragon Synchro. Right now, a lot of people aren't really familiar with what the goal of these cards is. You're really able to take advantage of your opponents not being familiar with these cards and not knowing what the end goal of them is, and that came up in pretty much all my games. Like these either ate Ash Blossom like crazy or they resolved, and I played through every other hand trap they had because my opponent wasn't really sure what they were doing. Basically, if you have AI Connect with Maliss name, you can summon the Maliss name from hand, add Circular Dump Sigma, and basically what that does is it gets you to a Link 3 plus additional cards in hand without having to use a single normal summon or Maliss effect, which I think was very strong and helped me play through a lot of hand traps like I was saying. Because then, like even if they ash this, your next camp play can just be normal the Maliss name. These also work in the opposite way, where if you open back up and get access to Wizard, then you can Synchro for Saber Dragon, add something back, and then search for Connect. Connect can reveal something and get access to the Mathmech cards, and those are free bodies for forever, pretty much. So yeah, I was a big fan of this little package here. None of them really felt like bricks because they can all be used as extenders at different points in your combo if you're playing correctly, and they also really, really help with the Lancia problem and the Chaos Center problem if you draw it. So yeah, now I want to get into the match review. This was not the list I played during this match. During this match specifically, I played this list where I replaced the Salesman and the Warnings for Chalice and Droplet. I talk a bit more about why I'm doing that in the actual match itself, but basically in my head I thought it was a way to beat Hunter. And I'll talk about my thoughts for that when it comes up in the video. As I said in the intro to this week's video, this week is going to be a full match review of a game I played at Locals this week. This is something I used to do a lot. This is a really common thing in like Counter-Strike and tactical FPSs to watch back all your games, and like that's kind of the main way to improve. I played a lot of Counter-Strike, so this is a way of improving that is very familiar to me. Like I said in the video the other week, we're prepping for the Philly Regional now. That was in pretty much 1 week from the time this video is uploaded, maybe 6 days. Depends on if this goes up on Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, this week's video is going to be a little bit more free throwing, kind of just commenting on the game as they go. I have a couple notes written down, but really just talking about things as they happen. Yeah, so let's get started here. See pile shuffling real quick. I'm a pile shuffle person. I go back and forth, but I'm like superstitious. If I don't do it, then the world's gonna explode or something. So here we go, presenting each other's decks. I lost the die roll, so he's going first. You can actually see here he opened like a really bad hand. It's a Fua, Impulse, Futsu, and the like Kaiju Mitsurugi. We wanted to test that in a pure Mitsu build because the guy in the deck profile that we were watching said he thought it worked out pretty well. But in this situation, it obviously did not work out pretty well. Comparing it to my hand was actually decent going second here. It was like a pretty good hand going first or second. It was Terraforming, Backup, March Hare, Imperm, and Ash. So that's a pretty good hand. So while that's a pretty good hand, I know what my opponent is playing, so like I know that it's probably not enough to stop it. So here I draw the white rabbit for turn, which is a crazy draw there, because now all my extenders can stay extenders and I have a normal summon. So we go white rabbit effect here, look good, set the GWC. So on res he Fuwas me, and I have the Ash in hand, and in my head I'm thinking like, well, he passed, and he didn't Perulia me in draw phase, so I know he either has second Fuwa or Meows. And my hand can really play through one of either, like reasonably, and still kill him. So in my head I was thinking, I'll just Ash the first one, because if there's not a second one, then I'm rewarded, and if there is, it doesn't matter, because I'm confident I can OTK through most hand traps. I think the only thing I lose to, maybe, at this point would be like him drawing crazy off the Fuwa and having Bell or Impulse plus a Bestial is the way like to prevent me from killing at this point. So I just Ash the first one, and then yeah, he cheats the second Fuwa, like I thought. And that's fine. Next play is Terraforming here. Really standard, just a way to get bodies on field without summoning from extra. Here we go, activate the Underground. Think a little bit. And just go for Dormouse here. So we know he has Impulse in hand, but he lets the Dormouse summon, and I think what he was thinking here is, because I resolve Dormouse, and then go Cat, and then he Impulses the Cat, and I was confused about that, but after we were talking, I think what he was thinking is he wanted me to commit him more draws into the Fuwa, for what I said earlier, so he could draw into like a way to prevent him from getting killed this turn. And it also keeps me off more cards, because I have the Marcher in hand at this point. Here, summon Lingaribo and give him one draw. I only give him two, I think. Yeah, because now I have backup. And then backup summon resolves, and then I grab out the Wizard and discard the Imperm. My thinking was, if he's got Nib, I can keep the Wizard and have Wizard plus Marcher in hand as extenders, because right now I'm already presenting him lethal by linking all three of these into Cryptor. So I discard the Imperm, just assuming. I also have the Ash Blossom engraved, so if I get to main phase 2, I can firewall back the Ash Blossom. Summon Cryptor, he draws a Perulia there, and that's game. If anybody's played against Maliss, you know that this is lethal. This is 31, so, revive the cat here for 15, and then 15 plus 600, and then 56, that's game. So that was game 1. Really unfortunate hand for my opponent. So talking about siding here, I was actually experimenting with a couple things this week. I was trying out Chalice and Droplet as kind of a way to try and beat Chaos Center, because if they summon the Chaos Center, you can just Droplet Chalice at any time. And also then, when you go first and you have them and you don't get 100, they're just like additional copies of Imperm. I think the idea was fine, but I didn't like it in testing because they felt really low impact when I didn't get Chaos Centered, and I got hit with like a Lancia, and then my set card was a Chalice instead of like a Solemn Warning or something. Because that's what I took out. I took out the 2 Tailspin and the 3 Warnings. So I think it was a decent idea, but I was not a fan in practice. He's going to opt to go first here. He draws Impulse, Pre-Prep, Ash, and Thrust. So he goes Pre-Prep here at Habakiri and Mirror. I was thinking about belling the Pre-Prep and putting him on Better Habit, which in hindsight would not have worked because he has 2 Pre-Preps in hand. But instead I just decided to draw and save the bell for like something that might come up later on my turn or on his turn while he's trying to extend. Here goes Thrust. Set. Just tried to set a Lancia. I said if you were playing Sanctum, you could do that. And he just goes ahead and sets an Impulse here. Yeah, that's like part of what I was saying about the deck was definitely not being that optimized. He passes. I draw here. Draw a Fua for turn, which is like awful. And unfortunately with this hand, I'm actually not able to really play through the Ash he has. The hand is Wizard, Bell, That's MTP, IMECHU, and Fua loss. So try and go IMECHU here, reveal ransom. Thinking about ashing it, and he does. Just puts me on have it, which worked because I don't. So here I'm now thinking I'm just gonna MTP at Dormouse and Fua him and threaten to kill him next turn if he doesn't have anything. He draws a Hunter for turn. Think about adding Marcher here, just as an extender in case I draw a starter, but I really need to draw a starter. So I'll just add the Dormouse, and if I draw another normal summon, then it's fine. So here goes reveal Habakiri, I Fua him, and that resolves, which I was happy about. So we summon Saji, tribute Saji, draw back up, which is like where was all this last turn. This turn doesn't really play out that well for me. Here he goes, ritual, summon the new guy from hand, and tribute the 2 from deck. He tributes the 2 names from deck, and one of them, Chainlink 2, is attempting to add the ritual back from hand, and this is where I decided to use my Bell. And I already know he has the Ritsurugi mirror in hand though, so it's kind of a lost cause. And yeah, I lose the game from here. He's able to just kill me. I had taken the damage from IMECHU too, or we had forgotten to do it, but I would have taken the damage from it anyway. Yeah, he tributes the Habakiri to add the prayers, and then summon it back, and then this is just lethal on board already. So getting into siding here, I'm putting the MathMech names back in, putting terraforming back in, I connect back in. I sided out an additional copy of the field spell, then I'm adding talents and the 2 chalice 3 droplet that I was talking about. I also side a called by, and normally I only put that in going first because it's a bad card to draw going second. I thought it could be pretty strong against Murakamo when he goes to summon it and Raigeki my field if I could called by that. So that's why that was in there, but I didn't draw it. But it wouldn't have mattered last game anyway. Alright, so cutting each other's decks. Obviously I choose to go first here. Here we can see my stand is Circular, Dormouse, Backup, MTP, and Impulse. Crazy hand. Just infinite, plays through infinite. He had a Fua. He has Fua, the Mitsurugi that adds back from grave, Habakiri, Ash, Thrust. So here I decide to set 1. I think always first action set 1, because if you do anything else, I think it kind of reveals that it isn't a bluff. But then I choose to lead with Circular here as a way to get out of body and potentially bait Impulse or make him think that I don't have Maliss names. He was asking about how Circular searches here, but so Circular, dump Sigma, and then Sigma summon, and then at this point he was asking me if I was searching with Circular, and then when I said no on res, he Fuas me, which is fine. So on res of the Fua, I go normal Dormouse, choose the Synchro and a Saber Dragon, and go Chainlink 1 Saber Dragon, target the Sigma to add it back to my hand. I think Fireball Saber Dragon's crazy. This card is really cool. Actually, one of the reasons I chose to even lead with Circular here is to get Sigma in rotation so I can Synchro this. I'm kind of confident that he wouldn't be able to break the full board if I get to this point, so that's why I feel comfortable giving him the draw of Saber Wall Dragon. It also gets me more extenders or baits out interaction, which you can see later it will be interacted with. So here goes Saber, add back the Sigma. He was asking if I was able to summon the Sigma back this turn. He was just asking to read it. So I linked those 2 in a Splash Mage, and then I go Saber Dragon effect to try and add an AI spell, and that baits out an Ash, which I was very happy with. Then obviously Splash Mage revived the Dormouse, but here I choose to activate the MTP, and I wanted to get more cards in hand to try and play around the Fua, so I actually search out a Marcher here. So slight misplay here actually. After the MTP resolves and Dormouse is summoned back, what I should have done here is go Dormouse, banish Chessie, Chessie summon back, and then Chessie banish the Marcher I just added to draw 2, and then Marcher add itself back to my hand. Because I know he already used Ash, so I know that draw 2 is guaranteed at this point pretty much. And I know that I have to get a lot of names into rotation early because of the Fua loss. So I actually commit the Martyr here, which, like I just said, I don't think was the correct play. I do think I did want to banish the MTP though, because my plan right now is to get to Cryptor to put back this MTP and then reset it off Rabbit. So here I link the Dormouse into a Lingering Bow. It gives him an extra draw, but I'm attempting to play around Impulse, which I knew he was playing because I saw earlier. And he rips the second Fua off that, which is annoying, but I'm also confident he has enough in his hand based on how he's interacted so far that I kind of need to play still. So here are some of the Ransom. We actually kind of messed up. He didn't draw his second card off this Fua, which was definitely helpful. Now that I ash the Saberwall Dragon, Ransom gets to resolve. I add Mirror here. It's kind of like regular half-board plays. He has to double read it. Now here I choose to commit the backup from hand in a second. Yeah, here I am committing the backup, and I wanted to get Wizard. And what my end board eventually is into a Cryptor. Set 2 pass. This was like, I spent a while thinking about if I wanted to go for this or like Firewall and use it as a bounce instead, but I felt like having the ability to recycle the MTP and then get the 2 banishes was a lot stronger than ending on just like a Firewall, which would only have 1 bounce based on how my board is set up. And then I set Mirror, and I set in, I believe this is an Impulse. He draws for turn, and looking at his hand, he's got a lot here. He's got the Makatama quick play spell, which is like a ritual from hand or pop a card, Impulse, Talent, Thrust, Mitsurugi Ritual, the Mitsurugi that adds back from grave, and Havakiri. So this hand is insane. And while this board isn't super threatening, just looking at it, there is still a lot here. It's very layered, and I'm glad I spent that extra draw to get into the Lingering Bow here, because I would have lost this game if I didn't have this Lingering Bow. He starts with Habakiri here. I figure I have to let this resolve because and use my interactions at like the most optimal points possible and try and play really greedy, because if I don't, he's got so many cards. I feel like there's an infinite amount of punishes. Here he tributes the new guy. I think it's called Wosu. And this one searches for the monster. So he adds the Murakamo here. So next play here is activate Ritual, and this card is insane. I'm sitting here thinking about it for a while. I asked if he added the Murakamo, which he says he did. I impulsed that. Then he changed the Makatama to Ritual Summon from hand. We misread this card. He thought it was basically Maliss in the Mirror, not Pop. But yeah, so he just Rituals from hand and tributes the Habakiri anyway. So you summon some Murakamo, goes Murakamo 1, Habakiri 2. And I chain the Maliss in the Mirror, so my guys don't get blown up. And he Murakamos that. I just discard the Sigma that was in my hand. Then he adds Mitsurugi Ritual. On the new chain here, I go Ransom to summon back. He tries to impulse it. I chain the Lingering Bow. And then I chain Cryptor here. So Ransom is able to banish a White Rabbit from deck, then White Rabbit's able to reset the MTP. So I can use that to banish a card later. And I banish the Murakamo. And so I go Chainlink 1 White Rabbit, Chainlink 2 Ransom, add myself another copy of the field spell, and then set the MTP here. Now I was trying to think of a way to kill me from this position. It's kind of hard given the rest of his hand. I feel like I used my interactions pretty well here up to this point. Just letting him know that Ling banishes the trap. So he goes talent to take. I chain the MTP, banish my own Ransom, and attempt to banish my Cryptor. And then just give him the White Rabbit, which is just like a card on his field at this point. He wouldn't even be able to use it to Ritual Summon anything. Then I go Cryptor, add back. At this point, I have no live interaction, so I just have to see if he can kill me through 5k Cryptor. Goes normal and add back the banished Murakamo. Anyways, the Ritual spell in hand, so he goes Mitsu Ritual from deck, tribute the Murakamo from deck to summon a Murakamo. Or tribute the Murakamo from hand to summon one from deck. Then Murakami effect to add back. Adds prayers here. And now this is like the biggest part of the punish of why this deck list was not as optimized as we thought it could be. He didn't realize he didn't have Dugaras until like right now. If he had Dugaras here, he would have been able to get over the Cryptor, clear all my bodies, and put me on 2 cards plus top deck against Murakami plus trap, and that would have been game. Here he goes Dark, take a Dormouse, and then SP to banish the Cryptor, which he's able to clear my field, but he's not able to kill me here or do any damage, which is like a huge deal. So here goes Haggard, and I chain the Marchera I had in hand just to put 2 bodies on my board, so at the start of my next turn I can go right into Linger Evo and also Splash Mage and prevent my cards from being blown up. And draw for turn. Immediate first action is make a Linger Evo with the Dormouse. I go Dormouse effect to banish a Marchera from my deck. Here I'm playing kind of fast because we were getting really low on time. So I tried to summon the Marchera from my hand. He goes Impulse, and he doesn't have the Trap Engrave because of the Linger Evo, so I'm able to keep it in hand, which is huge. Normal the Marchera. Here I link all 3 bodies into a White Binder. I was stressing a little bit because it was really low time. I link all 3 into White Binder, go White Binder effect to banish 2 cards from my grave. I banish the White Rabbit, the Mirror, and I choose one of his 1/ofs from his grave. So that got to resolve, which I think is a misplay on him. I think he should have activated the trap here and negated the White Binder and then blown it up. Even though he knows that I'm able to play through that though, because I have 2 cards in hand and one of them is Underground. So the first action could be Underground, banish a guy from my grave, and then the second one, and then if he tries to Murakami that, I can discard. He still is working against the clock here and he's up in life. So I think if he wanted to win that way, which, you know, it's locals, do what you gotta do. If he wanted to win that way, then that's like his win condition, is making enough game actions to where I don't have the time. So here I'm resolving Mirror, banishing the Dormouse from my grave to add a Maliss monster. I believe I had like 1 left in deck. Actually no, add the White Rabbit. And then resolve the White Rabbit banish, and then Dormouse effect to summon back, chaining to White Rabbit. I knew I still had GWC in deck, summon these, ask him anything here before I make access code, because I didn't want to troll him. Summon access code, he's not able to interact anymore. Access code popped the Murakami, and that's game. That was like literally seconds. But I knew access code in this position was just game because I had the GWC set with a Maliss name on board too, and so I was able to get back into the Cryptor too in the battle phase. So here we are now with some closing thoughts on this match and how I think I could have played to help me win more efficiently. I'm a big believer in the idea that just because you won something doesn't mean you did everything correctly, especially in a close game like this was at the end. Looking back at this game, there were definitely some optimizations I could have made that would have helped me close it out a lot more efficiently. I think the first of these mistakes was not getting the 2 Chessy Cat draws in game 3, like I was saying earlier. In a situation like I was where you're under Fua, I think Cat and White Binder resolving become a lot more important, and those are kind of situations where I think, like, I understand people still playing Allure of Darkness. Seeing additional cards when you're underneath Fua or Meows and getting to access to your non-engine and additional extenders that you don't have to commit into their Charmy is really important and can really help you seal out those games. And I think I really fumbled by not just getting a free draw too. Like, if I had Pot of Greed in my hand, I would have activated it there. On the topic of Fua, I feel like Fua is really weird right now as a Maliss player. I probably played a bit too hard into it in the one game by like giving him the Linger Evo draw and the Saber Dragon draw. At the same time though, my approach to the Fua challenge keeps changing like every time it's activated against me as I've been playing. I'm not even really sure what my approach is right now between giving my opponent a lot of draws because my board is just one of the best boards of the format and telling them to break it, or putting out like the ransom quick play spell with infinite cards in hand kind of board and like saying kill me through all this follow-up. It's really weird, and I really feel like each time I play I have a different opinion on what I want to be doing. Lastly, in game 2 of this match, I think I threw away that ghost spell. I was looking back at it in the footage, and I didn't even say it in the video, but I was like, that's so dumb to use the ghost spell there. I know that either way he has access to the Mitsurugi ritual spells. There I think I actually should have used ghost spell on the more Kama revive. That would have given me a better chance at surviving and getting my turn back, though I think he would have been able to kill me either way. So yeah, that's it. This is my list right now. I'm not sure if this is what I'm bringing to the regional or not, because I've been changing my list a lot. If I update my list at all during the week, then I will post it at the end of next video, and maybe it'll be in my deck profile, depending on how well I do, hopefully. Just some thoughts on this list right now. I'm noticing a bit more the clash between the 5 Charmies in main and the 3 Drolls. I want to see if there's a way I can find to kind of remedy this. At the same time though, Droll feels like a mandatory card at this point, especially in the area I play at. Like, I keep saying it, Philadelphia is like the Mitsurugi capital of the world for some reason. Everybody here is playing that deck. So yeah, trying to resolve this issue, I might try moving the 3 Drolls to the side and moving the Nib and 2 Bell in the main. I haven't really had the one of Nib come up really. I haven't played a locals with this exact version of my deck. But I like the idea of playing one Nib as a kind of a punish for playing into Charmies. I've been seeing that a lot in other lists, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I could also be convinced to move the 2 Perulia to the side and play just the 3 Fua in main, and play like maybe these 2 Ghost Spells or 2 of a different hand trap in main, with the thinking that it may be slightly worse going second into like a larger pool because I only have 3 Charmies and different hand traps that are not as strong as Perulia. But at the same time, then my deck would be even more resilient going first, and I feel like I've been noticing a lot of the times when I've been losing games recently, it's because I've been drawing like hands of multiple Charmies going first, and I decide to play. In addition to those, I'm trying out one of Anti-Spell on the side. I don't think the Anti-Spell is going to stay. This was kind of just, after locals one day, I kind of threw the Nib and Anti-Spell in with like only a little bit of thinking. Anti-Spell is obviously a really strong card, but I don't know if it's the right format for it. I feel like while every deck is playing spells right now, none of them are as strong as the spells we had like last format and Snake Eye format, where like if Original resolved, you lost the game. If Sangan Summoning resolved, you lost the game. If Nightmare Throne resolved, you lost the game. Now this format is like Maliss and Underground is like a nice extender. Goldsark's a nice extender. Ryziel crosses can be set from deck, so it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I don't think this is the right format for Anti-Spell. This is probably going to be changed out at some point once I find a replacement I like more. I know I've talked about it a lot. These cards are definitely staying in my deck. Huge fan of these. Saber Dragon is also like, I know it's like a synchro in a deck that link locks you if you activate any cards, but Saber Dragon is also crazy. So yeah, thanks for joining me this week, everyone. It's really like incredible. I can't even describe how happy I was with the results from last week's video. It's at like nearly 700 views now at the time of recording, which I can't even believe that. Had a lot of people reach out to me and tell me how good they think the video was, which again, it's dumbfounding. I like can't even talk about it. I'm so happy with how that was doing. This is really just something I wanted to do for myself. I expected absolutely 0 people to watch this, so the fact that it's gaining the slightest bit of traction, very grateful, and I really appreciate that. Next week will obviously be mostly my tournament report for the Philly Regional, and then I want to talk a little bit about the Battles of Legend set coming out after that. I'll also upload any deck profiles that I found interesting or any of my friends after the Philly Regional, and hopefully myself. But yeah, next week will mostly be tournament report and then talk about the Monster Mayhem set. I'm very excited for that set. I'm a big fan of the Punk cards, so I'm really excited to play the new. I think the video I make the week after the set drops, I'm gonna be playing Fiendsmith Punk in that video. Just like my one fun week where I get to play a deck I'm really excited about. After that will be really like nose down grind for Nats. Yeah, Nats is actually coming up really soon, like sooner than even I expected. So I really want to get ready for that. I don't know if I'll still be playing like these cards for Nats, because maybe they'll gain more popularity, and if they do, then they're probably going to be countered for, and people are going to play more Droll and leave in Droll against Maliss, because that's really the thing that these lose to the most. Also have to see how things go with the Orcus cards when they come out, because those were the ones that saw the most success in OCG. But also, the OCG does have the Max C problem, so maybe the Punk cards and the Fiendsmith deck will be more popular since we don't have Max C over here, so that deck loses to a lot less. Advance is also something interesting. I've been looking into testing that format a bit more, just casually, but I haven't done too much work with it. But I know people who are really interested in playing the Vanquish Soul deck, which I think is going to be a big one. That's going to be another reason to play Droll in your deck. Those will be topics I cover more in depth in future videos, obviously, as we get closer to the event. But for now, just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. Again, I just can't express the gratitude that I have. Good luck to anyone else playing in the Philly Regional. I know some of my friends and stuff will be watching, and I hope you do better than me. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.